Good morning, everyone. Happy Saturday. Happy Saturday in September. I just want to do a quick check. Can everybody hear me? If somebody just wants to send me a thumbs up, I don't know actually if I'll see who's sending me the thumbs up. Okay, I'm going to assume that you can hear me unless you're going to type into the chat that you can't. So, good morning. Thank you for joining me. Beautiful, crisp Saturday morning. We're kind of moving into fall, even though it's still technically summertime. And thank you for coming today. We are going to definitely have a focus on our core, as you know, not to have a washboard, but to have a strong core that gives us good posture. And I'm going to kind of dovetail these two concepts together of strong core and posture. And it's picking up on some things that I've taught in my other virtual classes this week. Sorry. A little bit of a sound problem, sorry. So yes, so we are going to work on those two things. So let's please lie down on our backs and we're going to take a big full body stretch. So lying down, the whole length of your mat, bringing your arms over your head and big, big stretch. You can interlace your fingers if you'd like. Maybe you're waking yourself up. Maybe you've been up for hours already. Who knows? Maybe you had a very fun Friday night and you've woken up and now you're a little bit stiff this morning, your Saturday morning. Whatever it is, we're just going to take big stretches. I want you to take nice big breaths in through your nose and out through your nose. Maybe you're sparkling out your fingers and your toes. Let's keep our arms over our head in some capacity, whether you're linking your fingers or just stretching. I want you to turn your head from side to side and give your neck some relief. Nice and easy. Just turning your head from side to side. All right. I want you to bring your arms back down alongside your body. You can turn your palms to face up and shrug your shoulders back. And as you shrug your shoulders back, I want you to be aware of your shoulder blades that are connecting into the floor, into the mat. So as you do this, as you connect those shoulder blades into the floor, what you are effectively doing is pulling your chest open. You're drawing your shoulders back, even if it is subtle. And this is an idea that I want us to sort of imprint in our minds today. We're going to practice this idea of pulling our shoulders back. We're going to do this in a couple different ways so that we can reinforce it and really have some good, strong muscle memory of good posture. You can close your eyes here for a moment, and I'd like us to take 5 big, deep breaths. We're going to breathe in through the nose, breathe out through the nose or the mouth, whatever is available to you. But I want you to really connect with the breath. You're mindful of your breath. You're aware of it. You're letting your belly expand and contract with the deep breath. Let's take a couple more big, deep breaths, trying your best to transition to breathing in through the nose and out through the nose. And once you've completed your approximate 5th breath, let's bring our knees into our chest. You can start to massage your back, rolling around on your spine. You can pull your knees a little wider apart if you'd like. Just check out how your back is feeling. We're going to take 2 more breaths like this. And then from here, I'd like you to stretch both of your legs up in the air, and you're going to start to release the tightness in the backs of the legs. You can support the backs of your legs, start to roll your ankles, squeeze and release your toes. I always find this like such a good movement. Even if you like stretch yesterday evening and you did a yoga movement class, whatever, and you wake up in the morning, it still feels like your legs are like creaking open and up, and you just want to release them. Always take every opportunity to do this and just put lots of space, lots of movement. So getting into your feet, you're doing any sort of movement here that serves you well. Maybe you really like the feeling of squeezing your toes in and releasing. Maybe you like rolling the ankles. Stay with it. Maybe massage the backs of your legs. Check out how your hamstrings are feeling. I always like to try to massage behind the knees. That's a tricky area to get into, and we find a lot of us have very obviously tight muscles, tight tendons behind the knees. So just, you know, you're just cautious. You're cautious and you're massaging. Part of that amazing connection that you get when you practice yoga, you connect with your mind to the feelings of the body. And we're going to stay here for just a little bit longer. Take another big breath in and exhale out. And then let's bring our feet back down to the ground. We're going to bring our feet to the outside edges of the mat. Knees are bent. We're going to start to drop the legs from side to side in windshield wiper knees. You can stretch your arms away from your body if you'd like. Nice and easy. Maybe just have a little bit of awareness of your shoulder blades again. Just notice how they feel here on the mat as you pull your chest open a little bit wider, as you stretch your arms back, stretch your arms away. Let's take 2 more big breaths and just take some nice big breaths into your rib cage. Let it expand and contract. 1 more breath. Hopefully you're starting to feel things loosening up. And bring your feet in a little closer. I'd like you to have your feet hip distance apart. Your heels are close enough that you can just lightly touch the backs of them. Your hands are alongside the body. Let's lift our hips up in a bridge pose. Take a big breath into the belly. Let it open up, expand, contract, lower yourself down. We're going to do that 2 more times, that same bridge pose movement. Inhale, lifting up. I want you to really plant your palms on the ground and have the length of your arms pressing into the ground. Lift up a little bit higher, perhaps. And relax back down. And we're going to do that 1 more time. Inhale, lifting up. Again, hands planted, arms pressing down. And if you would like this time, come up on your tiptoes, still engaging your glutes. Big breath. And release everything back down to the ground, lowering everything down to the ground. Let's bring the soles of our feet together. Let your knees open out to the side. And we're going to just do something a little more intense with the arms if it's available to you. I want you to bend your elbows at 90 degrees, have the backs of your hands on the ground, palms are facing up. And I know it's tricky because you have your legs in butterfly as well. So we're going to do a couple things here with trying to think about our posture and think about our core as well. I want you to try again to tuck your shoulder blades or snuggle your shoulder blades into the ground, into the mat, pulling your shoulders back. So you're quite aware of your engagement of your muscles to keep your shoulders from curving in. So you're pulling back here. And now the next thing I want you to think about, this is why it's a little more difficult, is also trying to soften your torso. So you're going to try to soften your spine more to the ground, soften your rib cage. Does not mean that your low back is going to touch the ground, but you're softening. So you're strong, you're tall with your posture, tall, or you're stacking your posture, but you're also relaxing, you're not tense. And I know it's tricky to do all these things at once because the arms are in a position that is difficult, the feet and the legs are in a position, but that's why we're doing it. We're going to stay here for one more breath. Just let this pose permeate into your body and release the arms. Let's take the hands to the outsides of the legs, tuck your knees or scoop your legs back in again, rounding your back, maybe rolling around on your spine, anything that feels good here. And then we're going to stretch our legs straight up towards the ceiling again. I want you to flex your feet. And we're going to try to keep those flexed feet now through this movement. We're going to start on doing some core work. I'd like you to take your right leg and we're going to just let it float down, and you're going to find a spot where you want it to hover. Maybe it's higher, maybe you're letting it hover very close to the ground. You can always be supporting your other leg with your hand as well, if that helps. But your abdominal muscles, you're drawing them in. You're super strong right now. Nice, strong core. Holding here. Your head is on the ground, your arms are on the ground. Let's hold for one more breath. And then we're going to bring the leg back up, and we're going to do the same to the other side. The left leg lowers down. Find the point that you want it to be at. It does not have to be down as low as I'm demonstrating. So you're keeping your feet flexed, pushing through the heels. Your head is on the ground. Your abdominals are engaged here. So we're getting nice, strong body. Holding here. Okay, so let's lift the leg up. We're going to do that slowly one more time on either side. So right leg hovers down. You can feel the pull in the tops of the legs. You can feel the low abdominal muscles. You're pushing your back into the ground. And then left leg goes down. So you might be feeling some fatigue, and that's okay. Maybe you don't. I do. All right, bring the leg back up. Okay, so we're going to try two different things here, still with the legs in this position, still with the feet flexed. Take your hands behind your head, cradle your head in your hands, elbows are open nice and wide. Think about how you felt when you just had your arms in those cactus positions a minute ago. So elbows are open nice and wide, and we're going to let that right leg lower down. So you know from before, you can always bring your head to the ground if this doesn't feel good. You're trying to gently rest your head in your hands. You're staring up at the ceiling, but now we've brought the upper abdominals in addition to the lower. Holding here. All right, bring the right leg up and left leg down and hover. So we're repeating what we did before, except we've added in the upper body. Notice what's going on with your upper body. Maybe lift your head and shoulders up a little bit higher, holding here. Bring the leg back up. Okay, let's take a rest for a minute. Bring your head down. Let your head relax. You can hug your knees in. Maybe even turn your head from side to side a couple of times to take any tension out of the neck. Okay, so we are going to lift those legs back up in the air. And we're going to do 20, but we're going to do like scissors. So your legs are going to cross in midair, okay? So we're going to do 20 of those. And you have the choice to also lift your head up, staring at the ceiling, not crunching your chin in, or keep your head down. You decide what's best for you. So this is going to be a nice little engagement. We're going to warm up our core here, and then we're going to switch our positions. All right, so holding in the position that you've chosen, and we're going to do 20, 19, 18, 17. Keep your feet flexed. 16, 15, 14, 13, 12, 11. If you are lifting up, lift up a little bit higher. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. And bring everything down. Hug your knees in just to start with. Just give them a little hug. And then I would actually recommend that we stretch our legs out. Bring your arms over your head. Take a nice big lengthening stretch through the belly, through the abdominals. Just stretch, stretch, stretch. You're stretching into your back. And then, of course, you want to just give our neck a little bit of attention. So maybe turn your head gently from side to side. Okay. Awesome work. You can grab behind your legs if you like and roll yourself up. We're going to come up into a seated position with your knees bent, feet are flat on the ground. We're going to take a pose called boat pose. I want you to lean back, keep your core nice and strong. Now, think about pulling your shoulders back, drawing your shoulder blades down and back. So again, you're reinforcing that posture feeling, that strong posture that we were thinking about when we were lying on our back. Now we've switched our position and we're combining in abdominals at the same time. We are such multitaskers, it's unbelievable. Okay, if you want a little more work, release your arms. If you want a little more work, bring your right leg up. Maybe bring your left leg up. Pick where you want to be at. Maybe you want both legs up. Remember, you can always bring your feet back down. We are going to hold here, incorporating our abdominals, our back muscles, and our posture for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Amazing. Bring yourself down to the ground. Bring the soles of your feet together. And let's fold forward. Let's take a nice big stretch. You're going to stretch into the hip flexors. They worked really hard for the last few minutes. You can also round your back, tucking your chin in, and just taking some nice breaths, stretching everything out. All right, take a couple more breaths. Of course, you can press your arms inside your legs and just pin the hips down a little bit more. So a couple more breaths doing what feels good here for you. And then let's come up. I don't always do this type of pose at the kind of the beginning of the class, but I think it would be good to do a releasing twist here on our back. Let's stretch our left leg out, step your right leg over. You're going to twist towards the bent knee, so towards the right. Pull yourself up nice and tall and just take a good stretch here into your back, into the belly, into the waist. And of course, you're getting into your hip as well. So nice big breath, your neck is relaxed. Don't worry about your neck. All right, and we'll come back to center. We'll switch and we're gonna do the other side. So your right leg is stretched out, your left leg is bent. You're twisting towards the bent knee. Nice big breath. Open up your lungs here, stretch into your heart. And come all the way back. Let's come forward onto our hands and our knees. And we're gonna set up in a tabletop position. And I'd like you please to start moving through some cat and some cow. So you're gonna stretch out your body. Cat and cows, opening up your spine. I'm gonna just adjust one thing here with my computer. All right, amazing. So cat and cow. I want you to be pulling your breath in through your nose, exhaling out through your nose. This is such a good pose for thinking about pulling out stale air that's, lodged in different places of your body. You're pulling out that stale air, stagnant air, and you're putting in fresh, new air. This is the image that I like to think about. So if you feel like you've done a significant number of cat and cows, and let's move into some presses from side to side, and this gives your back a little bit of a twist. Keep your abdominal muscles engaged. You can shake out your neck. We are going to take 2 more breaths. And 1 more breath. And then from here, 2 choices. Choice number 1 is to come into child's pose. Always an option at any point in this class, or downward facing dog. So you guys decide. We're going to take about 60 seconds here in these poses. Maybe you want to move between downward dog and child's pose. That's all good too. Remember, I'm going to try to give lots of options in this class to accommodate all the different interest levels that have joined today, as always. This class is definitely kind of the class that I just want everyone of any level, any interest level of yoga to step into. The classes that I run additionally during the week are more specialized for different needs. Okay, so you're still in your downward dog or you're in your child's pose, shaking out your neck if you're in downward dog, walking out your legs, taking nice big breaths in through your nose and out through your nose. We are going to take 3 more breaths. And if you are in downward dog, I'd like you to come down into child's pose. We're all going to join in child's pose. Give your arms a nice reach forward. Maybe take a moment to make fists with your hands and roll out your wrists. We're going to walk our hands over to the right side of the mat. Take a lengthening stretch. And then walk your hands over to the left side of the mat. Another lengthening stretch. And bring yourself back up. We're going to come up onto our hands and our knees. Now, in this position in tabletop, which we've been in already, I want you to, again, think about pulling your shoulders back. What does that feel like? When you pull your shoulders back and you incorporate into this nice flat back, how does that feel? Does it feel weird to find that position? It's a different way of doing it, but I want you just to be aware and pause here for a minute. We're going to take a breath. Certainly it's okay to draw your abdominal muscles in. You always want to be incorporating a nice strong core. Okay, so we're going to do some work here to absolutely intensify the strength of our core. It's going to work our belly, our back, and our glute muscles, 3 important parts to ensure that we have a strong core. So let's take our right leg and send it back. We'll start like this with the right leg, toes curled under. You have your strong, flat back, drawing your shoulder blades back and down. Take your left arm and reach it forward. Your arm is alongside the cheek or the ear, and then float your right leg up. We're going to hold here. So there's balance involved. Use your breath. Try not to hold your breath. Okay, so let's add in a little bit more. We're going to take our elbow and our knee under the body and touch and back out. And touch and back out. So maybe I should be using the word squeeze and back out. And squeeze and back out. So we're going to go for 10 of them here. We're at about 5. I say about because I kind of lost track, but let's say 6. And 7. And 8. And 9. And 10. All right, bring your hand and your leg back down. You certainly might feel like your right wrist or your right arm needs a little bit of a stretch. You can take the back of the hand, of your right hand, with the fingers pointing towards you and just stretch into your wrist. Maybe curl your fingers in. Okay, and we're going to shake out the hands. So let's set up again in tabletop. Hands are under the shoulders. Draw your shoulders back and down. Keep your abdominals nice and strong. We're going to take our left leg and stretch it back to start with. Get this nice stretch in the back of the leg. And you know, you can always modify, right? If you can always come back to having the foot on the ground. We'll bring the right arm and reach it forward alongside the ear, stretching through your fingers. And then float your left leg, nice and strong. Nice big breath. And let's go for it. Elbow to knee, squeeze and back out. Squeeze and back out. And squeeze back out. Squeeze back out. We're halfway there. You can do this. Use your breath. I think we're at 7. I know somebody's counting and I'm probably wrong, but that's okay. 8, 9, and 10. and back up and out, and bring your hand down. Let's take that left wrist, maybe roll it out for a couple seconds. And then of course, just like before, bring your hand, back of your hand to the mat and let your fingers point towards you, and you can just stretch. All right. Okay, so let's actually come off of our hands. We're gonna come up onto our knees, but we're not gonna sit down on the knees. I want you just to be stacked nice and tall. Okay, so I want us to practice here the shoulders, again, from a different position. So I'm gonna stay sideways. I want you to think about drawing your shoulder blades back and down. Arms are long. You're lifting up through the crown of your head. So it's a little different feeling from before. The other thing that might be happening is you might be feeling like you want to engage your abdominal muscles in. So shoulders are back and down, engaging the abdominal muscles. And now relax. Okay, let's try that again. Pull the shoulders back and down, holding here. And relax. So you notice a difference. So this is an exercise. I was talking about this in one of my classes this week. This is an exercise that you can do several times during the day. If you're sitting at your desk, sitting at the computer, doing whatever, really, anything. On the iPad, knitting, God knows what we're doing, right? Shoulders back and down. And relax. You could literally count to 5 and do that. Just doing it several times a day. What we're trying to do is reinforce not only our brain to remember this, but our muscles and our body. And then the work that we are doing, specifically the core work today, is all work is good with yoga, but definitely the core is the major part of the body that it will allow us to have the strength to hold things back, among other things. But we only have an hour. All right, so let's come forward. Bring your hands to the ground and either bring yourself up into downward facing dog so that you can release your knees, or if you feel like you would prefer to come into child's pose, your knees feel okay, go for it. But downward dog, child's pose, or actually even maybe you're stretching one leg back at a time. I just want you to release your knees. So everybody pedaling out or stretching back or taking child's pose, whatever is good. Shake out your neck. We're going to move around a little bit more. Get the blood flowing a little bit more. All right, let's look forward to the top of the mat and walk your feet up to meet your hands. You're going to be in a forward fold at the top of the mat, and just take a few moments here to embrace your forward fold, like bend your knees, rest your belly on your thighs. This will continue to give you a nice stretch in the back of the body. Shake out your head. Maybe walk your fingers over to one side, and you're going to keep your knees pointing forward as you get this twist. And then we'll walk our fingers over to the other side, getting the twist. Come back to center. Bring your hands to your shins, coming into a flat back. Flat back, look at it again, shoulders down and back. Oh my God, another opportunity to practice. And then fold yourself forward and then keep your belly muscles pulled in. We're gonna roll ourselves all the way up, coming up to standing. Take a couple breaths here, shaking out your head. Okay, so bring your feet close together. Big toes close together or touching, heels are apart. We're gonna stand up nice and tall. Take your arms out, inhale. Hands together, exhale, folding forward. Lengthening into a flat back. Bring your hands to the ground and step yourself back into downward facing dog. Take a couple moments here to pedal the legs. Get yourself in a good position. Your hands are shoulder distance apart, fingers are spread wide. Bring yourself forward to a high plank. And for this first one, you can either have your knees down, or you can do this for all of them, or keep the knees lifted. I'll demonstrate with knees down, elbows bending, arms suctioned in close to the body, come all the way down to your belly. Bring the tops of your feet to your mat. Inhale into cobra. From here, curl your toes under, lift yourself up and back into downward facing dog. Nice big breath. Give yourself another pedal. And we're gonna take our right leg, reach it up in the air and bend your knee open. Keep your arms strong. Try to keep your shoulders angled towards the mat. You're not leaning all of the weight into one arm. And now looking forward, we're gonna step our right foot forward. Come down on your left knee and float your arms up. Nice big breath. Let's grab onto our left wrist, pull to the right. Get a nice big stretch on your left side. Come back to center, bring your hands to your heart. We're gonna twist towards the bent knee, so also towards the right. Maybe tucking your elbow on the outside of the leg. This is a great core strengthening posture as well. Come back to center, bring your hands down, and now we're gonna step the left foot forward. So both feet are together, lengthening into a flat back, folding forward, arms out to the sides, come all the way up, and bring your hands down through your heart. Okay, we're gonna do that again. So standing nice and tall, arms out to the sides, inhale, exhale. Lengthening into a flat back, bring your hands to the ground, step yourself back into downward facing dog. Give your legs a couple pedals for a moment, make sure you feel strong and stable with your positioning, and we're gonna come forward to a high plank. Just like before, you can bring your knees down. I definitely recommend that if you are newer to this pose or if you haven't done it in a while or if you're feeling a bit tired. Lower yourself down to your belly, tops of the feet to the mat. Inhale into cobra, curl your toes under, downward facing dog. Take another breath. We're gonna bring our left leg up in the air, bend the knee open. Nice strong arms. Step your foot up between your hands, come down on your right knee. Arms floating up, we're in a low lunge. Grab onto your right wrist, pull to the left. Big stretch, big lengthen. Come back to center, bring your hands to your heart, twist to the left, twisting towards the bent knee. Squeeze the abdominal muscles. Come back to center, bring your hands down, step your right foot forward, lengthening into a flat back, folding forward, arms out to the sides, coming all the way back up and hands down to your heart. Okay, so we're gonna do that again. We're gonna do it a little bit faster, a little bit more flowy, a little bit more dancey, standing nice and tall. And I'm gonna give you a second here to practice shoulders down and back. So this is the first time we've officially practiced it standing. We've done it in many other positions. Shoulders down and back, beautiful posture. Feel how much easier it is feeling to do that the more we're practicing. Like anything, right? Practice makes perfect. Standing nice and tall, we're gonna take our arms out. Inhale, fold forward and exhale. Lengthen into a flat back. Bring your hands to the ground. Step yourself back into downward facing dog. Take a second here, breathing in and breathing out. And then come forward to a high plank. Lower yourself down to your belly. Inhale into cobra. Curl the toes under, downward facing dog. Right leg goes up in the air, bend the knee open. Step your foot up between your hands, coming down on your left knee. Arms floating up. Grab onto your left wrist, pull to the right. Come back to center. Bring your hands to your heart, twist to the right. Keep your belly muscles always engaged. Come back to center. Bring your hands down, step your left foot forward, lengthen into a flat back, folding forward. This is where it's going to change a bit. Come all the way up with the arms, and then we're going to keep it going, fold forward. Inhale and lengthen into a flat back. Bring your hands to the ground, step back, downward facing dog. Take a moment, and then float yourself forward to a high plank. Lower yourself down to your belly. Inhale into cobra. Curl your toes under, downward facing dog. Take your left leg, reach it up in the air, bend your knee open. Step your foot up between your hands, come down on your right knee. Arms float up in the air. Grab onto the wrist, the right wrist, pull to the left. Come back to center, bring your hands to your heart, twist to the left, squeeze your belly. Come back down with your hands, and we're gonna step the right foot forward, lengthening into a flat back, folding forward. Arms come out to the sides, hands together at the top, and down through the heart. Okay, very good. So let's add on to this a little bit. Standing nice and tall. Inhale the arms up, folding forward. Lengthening into a flat back. Bring your hands to the ground. This time we're gonna step back into a high plank. Holding here in your high plank. Okay, so let's hold here, and I'm gonna add something extra. You can always bring your knees down and keep them there. I'd like you to come onto your forearms. So we're gonna be in a forearm plank. So you're either on knees or knees lifted. So let's add in a little bit more abdominal work here. This is one of my most favorite poses. I want you to take your left knee and you're gonna bring it up to your left arm. Spider crawl. I'm lying, it's not one of my most favorite. Right knee to the right arm, spider crawl. Let's do that again. Spider crawl. Spider crawl. I'm just throwing this in for fun. This is in case you were sleeping and thinking this is an easy class. Spider crawl. One more time, spider crawl. And then just for those of you that want one more, spider crawl and spider crawl. I know some of you are definitely swearing at me right now. All right, climb yourself back up into a high plank. Bring yourself back into downward facing dog. Erase that from your memory because we're gonna go into some flow. Right leg comes up in the air, bend the knee open. Step your foot up between your hands. Come down on your knee. Arms float up. Grab onto your left wrist, pull to the right. Come back to center, hands to the heart, twist to the right. Come back to center, bring your hands down, pick up your back knee, and we're gonna float up into a high lunge. Nice breath here. Okay, so let's repeat what we just did with the arms. Grab onto your left wrist, pull to the right, come back to center, hands to the heart, twist to the right. Maybe you're tucking your elbow. Squeeze the belly muscles in all capacities. One more breath. Come back to center, bring your hands down, step back high plank. Lower down your chaturanga, coming into cobra or upward dog if you're practicing, and downward facing dog. Nice big breath. From your downward dog, we're gonna take the left leg up in the air, bend the knee open. Step your foot up between your hands, come down on your right knee, arms floating up. Grab onto your right wrist, dip to the left. Come back to center, bring your hands to your heart, twist to the left. Nice strong belly, strong back. Come back to center, bring your hands down, pick up your back knee, float the arms up. So we're in our high lunge. Take a few seconds here to get steady. Make sure your knee is over the ankle. Grab onto the right wrist, pull. Come back to center, bring your hands to your heart, twist. Maybe tuck. Keep your knee pointing forward. And then come back to center, bring your hands down. We'll step back into a high plank. Lower yourself down. Come into cobra. Curl the toes under. Downward facing dog. Okay, so option here, well-deserved child's pose stretch, well-deserved downward dog pedal of the legs, or, you guys know it, take another 3 vinyasas. Lowering down, come into cobra, downward facing dog. So this is for those of you that want to keep the heart rate up. This time I'll demonstrate upward dog. Lowering down halfway, coming up into upward dog. One more time, doing this with your breath. Those of you that want to keep the heart rate going, do not feel like you need to do this. You can be stretching your body in child pose. Just don't stop and start texting on your phone or something like that. Stay with the class. All right, let's all of us take 3 more breaths. 2 more breaths. And then let's join again in downward dog. We're gonna look forward to the top of the mat. You can step, walk, or hop yourself all the way up, however you want to do that. Once you get to the top, lengthen into a flat back, fold forward. Let's keep our belly muscles nice and strong here. Dangle out your shoulders, your wrists, your arms, stretch into the backs of the legs. And then still with the strong belly muscles, roll yourself up. Okay, so we're gonna do another type of core strengthening pose here, but this one is standing. So we've done them on our back, we've done them on our forearms, and twisting, we've done them in our poses, but now we're going to do this standing. This has a little bit of a balance element as well. Some of you will know this. I've done this recently in some of my classes. I want you to take your right arm, and you're going to bend your elbow, and your left leg, you're going to float your knee up. Okay, so get a moment here to get the balance. And now we're going to touch elbow to knee. And come back and back down. Okay, so let's try it on the other side. Left arm. Shoulders are back and down. Remember, posture, pull that posture in. Right leg comes up. Elbow to knee. Come back and release. You might find one side is easier than the other because it's with your balance, right? One leg can be stronger. Okay, so we're going to do, let's do 20 of them. Let's do 20. Okay, let's do 10. Okay, no, let's do 20. We're gonna do 20. Okay, right arm. I'm a Libra, Scorpio Libra, but mostly I think Libra. All right. 20, 19, 18, 17, 16, 15, 14, 13, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, lift your legs up even higher, 7, 6, 5, I think I'm going too slow, 4, we should do another 20, 3, I'm just kidding, 2, and 1. Okay, I feel like that wasn't hard. I don't know. Let's widen our feet, nice and wide. Your toes are pointing forward, and you can bring your hands to the ground. If you happen to have a prop with you, a block or a book, you can have your hands under it if you want. That's up to you. I don't want you to be folding in half. I want you to have your hands more underneath your face. So you're going to feel more like you're kind of sticking your butt back and out, and that's okay. All right, so just hang like this for a couple seconds, pushing your legs, like the back of your legs back. Stretch, stretch, stretch. And then have your left hand underneath your face. Take your right hand to the small of your back, and I want you to twist to the right. So you're gonna get a nice rotation through your torso. Beautiful rotation. And bring your right arm up if it works for you. Maybe look at your hand. So all the twisting, of course, is so good for the body in so many ways, but particularly today when we're focusing on our core, you can feel the work that's happening, right? So draw your belly muscles in, hold for one more breath. If it hurts to look up at your hand, if it hurts your neck, then do not do it. And then come back down. We're gonna switch the right hand where the left hand was. Bring your left hand to the small of your back to really get that good twist open. Left arm up. Draw the belly muscles in, holding here, maybe looking up at your hands. One more breath. And bring your hand back down. We're gonna just walk our hands in a little bit closer. Now we're gonna actually take that deeper forward fold feeling. So some of you might be walking your hands more in line with your feet. Some of you might not, that's okay. Just one more big stretch. Don't lock your knees. And then bring your hands to your hips, coming into a flat back. And then lift all the rest of the way up. And just take some breaths. Okay, we're gonna do our flow sequence one more time. Let's come to the top of the mat. Practice all the things that you've thought about in this class so far. Let me check the time. Yep, we got time. This is good. All right. So posture, check. Shoulders back and down. Standing nice and tall. We're going to take the arms out. Inhale. Exhale, fold forward. Lengthening into a flat back. Bring your hands to the ground. Step yourself back into a high plank. Holding here for a moment, nice and strong, and then lower yourself down, perhaps to your belly, coming into cobra, or maybe you're doing upward dog and downward facing dog. Take your right leg, reach it up in the air, bend the knee open. Step your foot up between your hands, coming down on your left knee, arms floating up. Grab onto your left wrist, pull to the right. Come back to center, bring your hands to your heart, twist to the right. Come back to center. You can either bring your hands down or for more work, lift yourself up, coming up into a lunge. So with or without using your hands, coming up into the lunge if you want. Grab onto your left wrist, pull to the right, come back to center. Bring your hands to your heart, twist to the right. Really squeeze your belly muscles here. Bring your hands to the ground. We're gonna step back into a high plank. Lower yourself down, coming into cobra or upward dog. Remember, you can skip these. Back into downward facing dog. Left leg goes up in the air, bend the knee open. Step your foot up between your hands, coming down on your right knee. Arms floating up. Grab onto your right wrist, pull to the left. Come back to center, bring your hands to your heart, twist to the left. Squeeze the belly. Come back to center, using your hands on the ground or not, lift yourself up. High lunge, crescent lunge. Grab onto your right wrist, pull to the left. Come back to center, bring your hands to your heart, twist to the left. Come back to center, bring your hands to the ground, and we're gonna close this off with our grand finale of spider crawls. Come onto your forearms. You can do this. We're gonna do 10 of them. So start with your left side. Left, right. Remember, you're bringing your knee up to your tricep or your shoulder or your elbow or partway there. And this is so good for the body. Think about the muscles that you're strengthening. And oh my goodness, I have to totally admit I've lost count. So I'm gonna say we've got 6 more. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Come into your forearm plank for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Lower yourself down. That was ridiculously long. I apologize. Actually, I don't apologize. All right. Bring an ear to the ground. Relax. Take nice deep breaths. I'm pretty much ensuring that no one is ever going to come to this class again, right? Nice big breath. And we'll turn to the opposite ear. And we'll come back to center. Let's have our chin facing forward, chin on the ground. Bring your hands beside your low ribs. Curl your toes under. Take some time to bring yourself up and back into child's pose. Up and back into child's pose. Maybe you want to shift your hips from side to side. Nice big breaths. Maybe you want to give your wrist another little roll. Who knows? Whatever feels good here. So I just want you to make sure that you have your knees wide apart, your big toes are touching. Let's take one more breath. And we're going to do a twist to just get into the shoulders. Take your right arm, thread it underneath the left. Take your left arm and drape it behind your back. Nice big breath. Let's release and we'll switch to the other side. So left arm threads. Right arm goes behind the back. Let's release the arms and bring ourselves up into a tabletop position and just do a few cat and cows here, or maybe mix them with, you know, pushing your hips from side to side. Anything here that feels like you're just stretching, making sure the body is feeling good. We did a lot of stuff today with the core. But that is also the really good thing about yoga, that so many of the postures incorporate strengthening of the core. And so many of those postures are ones that we do quite often in they're popular poses that we like to do, right? So, okay, let's bring ourselves around onto our backs. I'm going around. You don't have to go around and onto your back. Bring yourself onto your back. Bring your beautiful knees into your chest. Massage your back. Massage through your hips. Pull your legs wider apart. If you like how that feels, if you want something a little bit deeper, you can reach for the outside edges of the feet or the ankles and take happy baby. So we're going to just hang out here in your variation. So you do not have to reach for the feet. If that's not available, you can always keep your hands on the knees. The thing that I want you to think about is try to keep your tailbone planted on the ground. So if you find that by grabbing your feet, you're lifting yourself up too much, then just bring your hands down lower. So we're going to stay here a little bit longer, just a little bit longer, about 15 more seconds. You guys stay in this position. I need to just check my computer for 1 second. Okay. Sometimes messages and things come up and I don't know what's happening. All right. Bring your legs back down to the ground. Your feet are flat on the ground, your knees are bent. Let's do something that we did at the beginning. We're going to do 3 bridge poses. Inhale, lifting the hips up. This time, if you want to clasp your fingers together and tuck your arms under, snuggling the arms under, and lift up a little bit higher, engaging the glute muscles for sure. Nice big breath. And we're going to release and come all the way back down. So we'll do that again. Inhale, lifting up. Squeeze the glute muscles if you like. Maybe come up on your tiptoes. Take a giant breath into the belly. Big clearing breath. And release back down, letting go of the hands. We'll just pause here. And then last but not least, one more time, lifting up, tucking the arms. Maybe this is your full extension of the pose. This is your deepest variation of all, maybe up on the tiptoes. One more big breath. And letting everything come back down to the ground. Let's bring our feet to the outside edges of the mat again. We're going to drop the legs from side to side in windshield wiper knees. You can pull your arms away from your body. You can bring your arms over your head if you want. So you're trying to stretch down the sides, across the belly, into the back, of course. You're going to feel it in your legs. And then I always find that when the arms are over the head, you just get an additional stretch up through the ribs, through the torso. So let's do this a few more times. Maybe we'll say 6 more times in total. Okay. Take a couple more breaths, or a couple more drops from side to side, I should say, sorry, because I said 6 more in total. When you get to your 6, we're going to bring the arms back, bring your feet flat to the ground, Take your right ankle, cross it over your left thigh, bend your legs towards you. So we're going to take a lovely, lovely stretch here on our hip and in our glutes on the right side. Keep your right foot flexed. So foot that's crossed over your thigh, keep it flexed. You don't have to grab the thigh. If you get a good stretch, just staying like this with the foot on the ground, that is absolutely perfectly fine. Some of you might want to stretch your left leg up in the air. Roll your ankle around, that is an option. Let's take 2 more breaths. And we'll release the leg. We're going to just do another round of windshield wiper knees just to clear things. So let's say maybe we'll do 6 side to side again, 3 on each side. Just keep your breath going. You're cooling your body down. You're calming your body down. So 1 more either side if you're doing the 6 in the same pace as me. And then we'll come back. We'll do thread the needle. Left ankle crosses over the right thigh. Take the variation that works for you. Nice big deep breath. And maybe you want to stretch your right leg up in the air. Last few rolls of the ankle. And start to bring your legs back down to the ground. We are going to stretch our legs out, just let them rest on the mat for a couple of seconds. And we're going to close with 1 more stretch, 1 more posture. I'd like you to bend your right knee into your chest, have your left hand on your knee, pull the leg across the body. Take a deep and delicious spinal twist. Maybe gazing over at your right hand, letting your neck and your jaw relax and soften. And we'll come all the way back. We'll switch, left leg bends in, hand on the knee. Bring your leg across the body, big super stretch. Take a really lovely full breath in, fill up your lungs, fill up the space around your heart. And we'll come all the way back and release your arms. Let your legs stretch out. I want you to close your eyes. We are going to just soften here for about 10 seconds. Let your whole body feel heavy. If you want to stay here longer, absolutely do it. But for the rest who want to move on with your day, we're going to just put movement in our fingers and our toes. Shift your head or turn your head from side to side. 1 more stretch in the neck. And then one of my favorite parts of practicing yoga is when you get to stretch your arms over your head at the end and lengthen all the way from your fingertips to your toes. And you're going to take a nice big deep breath in through your nose and exhale out through your mouth. Let's do that again. A big breath in, exhaling out through your mouth. And then let's just gently bring ourselves up to a seated position, however you want to do that. Take your time, no rush. Remember, you can always, if you're watching this on my YouTube channel, you can always press pause here and just take a longer Shavasana. But for us doing this live with the Zoom class, please just bring your hands to your heart, close your eyes. I want you to just reflect on how you are feeling right now. Be really proud of yourself for showing up on your mat this morning, and we're practicing together in our community. Thank you so much for your support, and I hope you guys have a fantastic Saturday. Namaste. And I have new classes coming in another few weeks, new virtual classes. So stay tuned for my email that comes out on Thursdays, or if you want information, just drop me an email. Yeah, stay well, everybody. Stay well, be kind. Happy Saturday.